for the country. Here's Stiridon. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. New York City. Welcome to the EIB network. Hello.
Yeah, Rush, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what is the origin of your name? That's an interesting name, Stiridon.
That's Greek, man. I'm not from Greece. I was born in New Jersey, but my dad my dad gave it to me. I'm named after my grandfather.
Oh, okay, that explains it.
Yep. All right. So earlier in the show, you were talking about how dangerous the Hubble mission is because of all the space junk in the air, or in space, in orbit. So I was reading the new book by David Sanger. You know, he works in the New York Times. He's writing about, you know, the challenges, the foreign policy challenges, and he was saying that. Do you remember the Chinese missile test where they destroyed the satellite up in space?
Vaguely, yeah. I get them confused with the North Koreans. Right.
Well, they tested and they successfully destroyed one of their own satellites up in orbit, and that added about 10% more of the total debris, the space junk floating in orbit. And then, you know, in response, we did it to show them that we could do it too. And, you know, so that adds more to the stuff. So in reality, you know, the more the space race, you know, the more the arms race moves into space, the more dangerous missions like the Hubble mission are going to be in the future. So, I mean, that's my comment. That's trouble.
Why is it trouble? I mean, it's yeah, but look at most of the junk up there is not the arms race. I'm sure there's some spy satellites and stuff up there, but there's plenty of communication satellites. Most of the stuff up there is not from weaponizing space because it hasn't happened yet.
Hey, don't get me wrong, man. I was actually became part of the conservative movement because of national security. I wanted to stay ahead of the Chinese and all that. I'm just stating the simple fact that, you know, if things like this keep happening, you know, inevitable or not, that it's going to be more dangerous. So it doesn't, you know, like whether it's the main cause of the problem or not, you know, it still adds to it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's no question as more countries become able and equipped to put things in orbit. See, the thing about this that just the Chinese wouldn't know how to do this were it not for Bill Clinton and Loral Space. The Chinese in the 1990s could not figure out how to orbit a satellite. But Clinton needed campaign donations. And Bernie, I forget his name, the guy at Loral Space, was it Schwartz? They put, you know, there used to be the companies like Loral Space that would interact with other nations were under the hook of the State Department. You had to get permission of the State Department to go do things. Clinton moved it over to the Commerce Department, where Ron Brown was working as a flunky, as a hack over there. And so Bernie Schwartz got to go over there and show the Chinese basically how to make their gyros work. And we went over there, actually got their space satellites and their rocket ships that failed to make orbit, looked at them, here's what you're doing wrong. I don't know, folks. It's, you know, some of the stuff sometimes you have to wait. In 1 hour, a little bit less than 1 hour, the space shuttle Atlantis will launch. There is another space shuttle on the launch pad down the road from Atlantis. That is the shuttle Endeavour. In the 28 or so years of the space program, what is being planned for this mission has never been planned for nor happened before. I was reading about this over the weekend. This is the news on the Atlantis mission is really scary, perilous. It's about the Hubble telescope. Now, I think we've had a couple shuttle missions to the Hubble to make repairs on it before. But apparently, we got to get up there and do major work on the Hubble telescope, the kind of work not designed to be done in orbit. Because the shuttle's last flight is 2010, and whatever replacements on the drawing board will not be ready till 2015. And if these repairs are not made to Hubble, Hubble goes dark. It'll melt. And so we're sending this space shuttle Atlantis up to where the Hubble is. Now, normally the space shuttle, its missions these days are to the International Space Station, which is around 125 to 150 miles high in orbit above the Earth. But the Hubble is up there with all the satellites and stuff, and apparently there is space junk galore up there. 350-mile altitude is where the shuttle has to go. There is real concern that the shuttle could be hit by space debris. And the shuttle doesn't have much power up there. It's got some maneuvering jets, but it doesn't have any real propulsion. All it can do is slow itself down and return to orbit. 5 spacewalks are planned over the 11-day mission. Each of the spacesuits worn by the astronauts doing the spacewalks cost $10 million. They are going to be removing printed circuit boards and other elements from deep inside the guts of the Hubble that are razor sharp, that could slit open these $10 million suits, and the astronauts perish. If space debris happens to knock out the space shuttle Atlantis, if it's hit and rendered useless, incapacitated, they're going to send Endeavour up to rescue the crew. That's why it's on the pad. We've seen this in movies, send a shuttle up to rescue. We've never done this in real life. Now, they've trained for this mission for a long time. They've gone through all kinds of training as they do all of these space missions. But this is still very perilous. In fact, this mission is so perilous that when it was first proposed, it was refused. It was rejected.